We've already talked about all the alternate art for the starter deck 13, but we have yet to cover each individual cards themselves. Hello everyone and welcome to Anything Geek, my name is Zero and today we're gonna cover the entire deck just to give you a good idea of is this starter deck is gonna be for you or not. And as with any decks, we start with the leader, which are 3 again this time because this is gonna be an ultra deck just like starter deck 10. And so we start with the leader Sabo, which is a red and yellow leader, 5k power 4 life, classical for dual color leader, and we have a Dressrosa and Revolutionary Army type with an effect that is done X1, activate main once per turn. You may add one of your character with a cost of 3 or more and 7k power or more to the top of your life cards face up, and up to one of your character gain plus 2k power until the start of your next turn. So you are effectively putting cards back up into your life, all the while boosting the power of another card. And of course we don't know much yet because we haven't taken a close look at all the cards in the deck, but I am sure that we're gonna find cards that will combo beautifully with this effect. The second card that we're gonna take a look at is the second leader, it's Portgas the Ace. It's a 5k 4 life leader of the blue and yellow color with an effect that is done X2, activate main once per turn. Look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck and add the 2 1 character cards with a cost of 5 to the top of your life cards face up. Then you can place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order, and at the end of your turn you can trash all your face up life cards. So clearly with that leader the game is going to be to put cards in your life face up and then with effects of other cards trying to get it face down because otherwise you're gonna trash them, or maybe having them played one way or the other on your board during this turn so they don't remain face up on your life. And lastly, the third leader that we're gonna have is Monkey.D.Luffy. That's black and yellow leader with 5k power and 4 life, Supernova and Straw Hat type also, and his effects reads that your face-up life cards are placed at the bottom of your deck instead of being added to your hand. And that's something that is always active during your play with this leader. But additionally to that, you also have an effect done next to activate main once per turn. You may trash 1 card from your hand, and if you have 0 life cards, you can add up to 2 character cards with a cost of 5 from your hands or trash to the top of your life cards face up. So clearly the idea here is to restock your life with face up cards, but when you take damage, those face-up cards are gonna be placed at the bottom of your deck instead of being added to your hands when you take damage. So be careful with that effect, but if we got the cards in the deck to make it relevant, then it's very interesting. And now let's take a look at the character cards. First we have Edward Newgate, which is a 6 cost 7k power of the yellow color. And by the way, all cards are gonna be yellow colors in this deck. I'm just getting this out of the way right now. All cards, characters and events are gonna be yellow. Of course, this is Newgate, this has the 4 Emperor and Whitebeard Pirate type. It's also got a counter of 1000 and an effect that is on play you can add 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. Then you can look at all your life cards and place 1 card at the top of your deck and place the rest back in your life area in any order. So you can rearrange your life straight out the bat. This is very good. For yellow, this is gonna be a staple because you always want to know what is at the top of your life and what's at the bottom. Katakuri was very strong because he could manipulate this and you could always arrange yourself to have triggers at the bottom of your life, so end game when you take damage you get a ton of triggers, you can maybe get life backs, you can throw out your blockers on a trigger. It was very efficient and this card lets you do just that. Also it's kind of a card cycling because you can take 1 of your life, put it back in your deck and take 1 other life from the top of your deck. So you can potentially throw out any trigger that is not relevant or any normal card that do not have a trigger that you do not want in your life. You can throw them back into your deck and possibly get a new trigger to add to your life. That is very good for yellow. The next card we're gonna have is gonna be Emporio Ivankov. It's a 3-cost 4k power counter of 1000 and the Revolutionary Army type. It's also got the skill blocker, so that's very cool. We like blockers. And an on-play effect, which is that you may trash 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards and reveal up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 from your hands and add it to the top of your life cards face down. So here again with the yellow shenanigans on the life, you can choose a 5-cost character card that you can put yourself at the top of your life. And right at the top of my head, I got the blocker Sanji from OPO 4. I got the blocker Sanji from OPO 3. Because you can place your blocker right at the top of your life. Yes, you need to trash 1 of your life first, but you get that life back and you can maybe put a blocker or something useful there as a trigger. That's a very practical effect and I think it's very good. The next card we're gonna have is gonna be Curly the Dan, 5-cost 4k power with a counter of 1000, also a blocker, a bit of an expensive one, but you get an on-play effect that is play up to 1 each of Sabo, Podcast the Ace and Monkey.D.Luffy with a cost of 2 from your hands. And of course we're gonna take a look at those cards in a second, but you get to play 3 cards with a cost of 2 from your hands when you play this card, so obviously this is gonna be very useful because we know the 2-cost cards tend to be more utility based and get you to do bigger stuff later on in the game. And so the Sabo that you can play with the Curly the Dan effect is this one. It's a 2-cost 2k power with a counter of 1000 and it's from the Goa Kingdom. I forgot also for Curly the Dan this is from the Mountain Bandit type, but the Sabo is from the Goa Kingdom and his effect is an activate main. You may trash this character and you can reveal 1 card from the top of your life cards. If that card is a Sabo with a cost of 5, you may play that card. If you do, up to 1 of your leader gain plus 2k power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you eventually get to play a Sabo with a ton more power for free just by activating main discards. And just like we saw, there's a fair chance if you play yellow that you will know what is up in your life. So you can really set this up for success every time. And the 5-cost Sabo that you are going to play with the effect of the Kid Sabo is this one. It's a 5-cost 6k power Sabo with the Dressrosa and Revolutionary Army type and also a counter of 1000. And his effect is a non-play. You may trash 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards and then you can KO up to 1 of your opponent's character with a cost of 5 or less. Perfect for controlling the board but at the cost of 1 of your life, which we know by now you can probably spare that. Next we have Shanks. It's a 7-cost 7k power cards with the 4 Emperor and Red Hat Pirate type and an on-play effect that you may turn 1 of your face-up life cards face down. If your opponent has 7 or more cards in their hand, you can trash up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life cards. So that's a very aggressive card. You might want to wait until your opponent has a full hand before playing this, because trashing 1 of your opponent's life cards directly is it can be very strong. Next we're gonna have the Podcast the Ace Kid. It's a 2-cost 2k power. That's the one you're gonna play with Curly the Dan as well. It has a counter of 1000 and the Goa Kingdom type just like Sabo, and his activate main is you may trash this character and reveal 1 card from the top of your life card. If that card is a Podcast the Ace with a cost of 5, you may play that card. If you do, up to 1 of your leader gain plus 2k power until the end of your opponent's next turn. And yes, you're not dreaming. This is exactly the same effect as the Kid Sabo. And of course the ace that you're gonna want to play with that card is gonna be this one, 5k 7k power Podcast the Ace of the Whitebeard Pirate type. And his effect is of course a non-play because you're gonna be playing it for free, and so you're gonna have that as well. And on play, if you have 2 or less life cards, this character gains rush. So Surprise, I guess. Playing this from your life at the main game is gonna be very efficient because it's gonna take your opponents by surprise. Is probably not gonna be waiting for this podcast the ace, but you can also totally play this in an NL deck because NL thrive when you're at 1 life because you get his revive mechanic. You're gonna be at 2 life or less, and this card is gonna be able to have rush every time. So that's a fairly decent card, not only for this deck but also outside of the deck. Next we have Makino, which is a 1 cost, 0 power and a 2k counter of the Windmill Village, and her effect is a non-play. You may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand, and you can look at all your life cards and place them back in your life area in any order. So that's the same effect as Whitebeard, but with a 2k counter instead of a big power that you can have on the board. That is very nice, and I suggest taking advantage of this to plan for the Ace, Sabo and Luffy in your life before you use the effect of Curly the Dam. Next we're gonna have Monkey.D.Luffy. It's a 1 cost 2k power with a counter of 1000 from the Navy, and his effect is a non-play. Look at the 5 card from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 Sabo, Podguard the Ace or Monkey.D.Luffy with a cost of 5 or less and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And look, if you get those cards in your hand, remember that Luffy can place those cards in your life. So clearly with Garb, I'm not imagining things when I say to you that he's getting those cards to you in your hand or maybe in your trash if you get that well, and you can then use Luffy's effect to place them in your life. But what about the kid Monkey.D.Luffy? Well, it's a 2 cost 2k power as you can expect from the Goa Kingdom with a counter of 1000, and he's got an activate main. You may trash this character and reveal 1 card from the top of your life card. If that card is Monkey.D.Luffy with a cost of 5, you may play that card. If you do, up to 1 of your leader gain plus 2k power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So clearly we can see now that the kids version of the 3 brothers are gonna be there just to get their adult version from their life, play them and have a boost for your leader, which is maybe why the deck seems to be so prominent at determining what card is in your life and for you to manipulate this so that you can play those for free. But we have yet to talk about the adult Luffy, which is a 5 cost, 6k power with a counter of 1000 of the Supernova and Straw Hat crew. And his effect is an activate main. Once per turn, this character gains plus 2k power until the start of your next turn, which is super strong because it's gonna be at 8k every time. But it doesn't stop there, because then if you have 1 or more life cards, draw 1 card and trash 1 from the top of your life cards. So you're putting yourself at 0 life and drawing a card, which is super strong. And remember that we have other mechanics to get life cards back into our lives. And the final character that we're gonna have is gonna be Yamato. It's a 5 cost 4k power with a 2k counter value and the Land of Wano type. And Yamato's effect is Rush, first and foremost, but also on play you can look at all your life cards and place 1 at the top of your deck and place the rest back into your life in any order. Again, with the life manipulation, you want to make sure that the adult Ace, Sabo and Luffy are at the top of your life before playing Curly the Dad. And now we're gonna dig into the event with the first one, which is Flame Dragon King. It's a 2 cost event from the Dressrosa and Revolutionary Army type, and has an effect that is a counter. Up to 1 of your leader or character gain plus 4k power during this battle. Then you can look at all your life cards, place them back in your life area in any order. So you again have the chance to sort out your life and make sure the Ace, Sabo and Luffy adult are at the top of your life. And it also has a trigger that you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand and add up to 1 card from your hand to the top of your life cards. So you have no excuse not having 1 of the 3 brothers at the top of your life cards. The next event that we have is the Gum Gum Jet Spear, which is a 1 cost counter event of the Punk Hazard and Straw Hat crew, and it's got a counter that up to 1 of your leader or character cards gain plus 2k power during this battle. Then if you have 0 life cards, you can draw 1 card. And also a trigger, you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand and add up to 1 card from your hand to the top of your life cards. And the absolute last card of this deck is gonna be the Three Brothers Bond. It's a 1-cost event of the Goa Kingdom, and it's a main effect. Look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 Sabo, Podcast the Ace, or Monkey.D.Luffy with a cost of 5 or less and add it to your hand. Then you can place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And you also have a trigger, that is activate this card's main effect. So there you go guys, this is the entire deck list for the starter deck 13, and it seems to be a very promising deck, especially for the yellow color, because you're gonna have so much life manipulation added into the game through this deck, and just being able to sort out your life the way that you want is already a very strong effect. Makino, which is also a 2k counter, is gonna be a staple for any yellow deck from the release of the starter deck 13 onward. Like I said to you when we looked at the cards, the Podcast the Ace, the adult one with the Rush, if you have 2 life or less, is gonna be also very interesting. The Luffy is also very interesting to me, Sabo a bit less, but Luffy and Ace, both the adult version here, are gonna be very interesting for any yellow deck going forward. But now I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below which is your favorite card from the starter deck 13. Also consider subscribe to the channel. We don't talk just about the One Piece card game, but of course we're gonna cover any news for it. And speaking of information about the One Piece card game, this is gonna be one of the Ultra deck, the previous one being the starter deck 10. And if you know nothing about the starter deck 10, maybe you want to check out this video next.